I was walking to my next class. I was in the middle of a big student hall, and all of a sudden, the bell rings, and there's a swarm of undergraduate students coming out of their class and going into their next class. And in moments, I was surrounded by a crowd, and I stood very, very still. And the reason I stood still is because I was at that time asking myself the question, am I even on the right path? And not only that, I was also thinking about one other thing. And before I answer the second question, let's address the elephant in the room. The room has changed, and my face kind of. That video I made was originally a couple of years ago, but it's still relevant. And the reason why it's relevant is because now, first of all, I'm a lot wiser. Wise, a lot more wise. Is wiser a word? Anyway, and that the second question now is, once that we've addressed this elephant in the room, is that is this all there is to life? Now, it can become very depressing when we think of life just in routines. And that's what I was doing when I was much younger in university, that, oh, I'm going from class to class and look at all this swarm of students going from one class to the other. And then at the end, graduating, and then eventually finding a partner, getting married, having kids. And then my life is commuting from work and work to home. And that was pre-COVID, by the way, if you don't know, because now we have a thing called work from home, which is kind of cool. But the concept still remains the same: clocking in, clocking out. And is that all there is to life? Like, where does the joy in life come from? Where does the meaning in life come from? And it took me on quite a journey once that question stuck with me. Like, where do I add the meaning and the joy and the fulfillment and like the actual living of the life? Like, where does that fulfillment come from? And I did a lot of things, and one of them being, I wrote and published my first book called Grow With Your Baby: Lessons in How to Embrace Change and Overcome Fears. Now, that book is not only relevant to parents about to be the parents for the first time, or existing parents, but also to any other person who's in that similar position that I was. And sometimes I still ask those questions, like, what more is there to life? Is there more? That's a question you never stop asking. Um, and the good thing now, years later, is that I published my book. It was a bestseller on Amazon, number one in happiness for a few days, right? And then I had to go and dig deeper and ask further questions, like, is this all? Am I an author? Or am I doing something more? And that led me to my podcast, the Grow With Me podcast, which I ran for over 700 days, over 50 plus episodes. And then the same question again, and then there's a different path. And now I'm here. And creativity is what has stuck with me. Like, creating videos, uplifting content is what I'm meant here to do. And for people in that situation, I'm now offering the book that I wrote, that's packed with wisdom and knowledge, that helps you reconnect with the power that you know that you were born with. Um, and I want to give that to you for free. So there will be a link somewhere. I don't know how YouTube ads work. I'm still new to this, but if you click on it, you'll get the copy of my book for free. And what's in that book is just a reminder of how powerful you are. It's what I learned when I watched my daughter growing up. And I share a small story with her, and then I wrap up this video. It was about the time when she was learning how to walk and or stand up on her own, and she would get up and fall down and get up and fall down, and the cycle would repeat a few times, and she would get frustrated with herself. And it's my duty as a dad to redirect her intention. And then but the point I'm trying to make is that she would still keep coming back to it. And it wasn't me that was telling her that in a world full of people that are all standing around her, and she's the only one who can't stand, that she has to keep trying. She was born with that spirit, that knowing that if she keeps trying, that she's going to get to it and she'll eventually get there. There was no doubt in her mind. Yet there's frustration that comes up, that's natural, but that spirit, that persistency, that power was always there. Once she had it in her mind that she's going to do it, she did it, right? And she's a wonderful walker, by the way. She runs all the time. But I shared this in my book in more detail, but just a reminder of that inner flame that we're born with, that eventually dies down because of all the cultures and the communities and the routines and what we hear as kids growing up, people telling us what we can and can't do. But let this book be a reminder and give you that uplift, that motivation that hey, you can do anything you set your mind to. I wrote this book and I've never had written a book before. I didn't even know I could do it. But just reconnecting with that power of me that knew that if I set my mind to it, I could do it, and I did it. So accept this gift from me to you, just because I know what it was like in that situation, the discomfort you felt. And sometimes we push that question, the discomfort, to the back of our head. And then I always said in my podcast that discomfort is a catalyst for change. When the discomfort of remaining the same, of remaining who you are now, outgrows the discomfort is going to take for you to take the next step into your expansion, that is when growth happens. So it is my wish um, that you read this book. It's a short, precise, and sweet book. I always hated reading 300-400 page books. Um, and that's one reason I wrote this book, which is about 80 to 90 pages, and it has stories of 3 other parents or people who overcome adversity, because I want it to be a platform for other people to share their stories as well. Um, it's packed with knowledge. It's a short and sweet read. It's simple, and it will uplift you and hopefully reconnect you with the power you're born with and get you started on that project that you put to the side. Well, let this be a reminder that you can do it. Um, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you receive it fully, and it gets you to where you need to go. That is all.